Hello, and welcome to this edition of Let's Talk About It with my awesome guest today, Miss Vascola Stoney. She's one of the most talented poet and spoken word artists that I've ever had the opportunity to hear. You guys want to stick around. You won't want to miss this show. See you in a moment. Hello and welcome to this edition of Let's Talk About It. You guys know I like to highlight amazing talent here in the city of Houston. Vascola is no exception to that. Vascola is one awesome poet, and she's come to join us here on the set of Let's Talk About It today. We're going to hear a little bit about Vascola, and then we're going to hear a little bit of her poetry before this is over with. Vascola.
Yes.
Welcome to Let's Talk About It. How you doing?
I'm excited. I finally made it.
You finally?
Yeah, I finally made it to Let's Talk About It.
All right,
yes,
all right.
Indeed. I'm getting all your emails with all the pictures and everything. I'm like, okay, one day I'm going to be on that show.
Is that right?
And here I am.
And here you are. Here
Yes,
you
yes,
are.
yes.
You know, I've always admired your skill and your gift.
Yeah, that's no secret. You've made no secret about it.
I've made no secret about it.
Thank you, and I appreciate the compliment.
Absolutely,
Really, I do.
absolutely. And you know, for me, one thing is when I see the gift in somebody, I always like for other people to see the gifts, because gifts are made to be shared.
To be shared, yeah.
And that's why I wanted to share you with the audience of Let's Talk About It.
Well, thank you.
So that more of the world can see what I see.
Okay. Well, I'm glad. Like I said, I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. Now, when you write, Vascola, what's your motivation for writing?
Actually, and honestly, I'm motivated to write because I like to write. But the inspiration really comes from life,
Okay.
and from God. He pretty much directs it. You know, I'll get to the point where I'll see something, or I'll remember something, or something I said, oh, I have to write, I should write about that.
Yes.
And then sometimes I get stuck because all I have is the desire to write about it. And then
Okay.
as soon as I settle myself down, then God comes out of nowhere and gives me one or two words, and it's just what I need
Right.
to kind of ignite it and, you know, and go for it. And sometimes I get done with a piece and go, oh my God, did I really do that? You know, really.
You're amazed at yourself.
I'm amazed at myself. But then I realized, yeah, you did it because it wasn't you. Because it wasn't you. And once I realized that, then it's not so unbelievable. Because God, well, He's awesome.
Yeah,
You
and
know
what
that.
I've learned about you is that through the gift that He's given you, He speaks through you
Absolutely.
in order to bless the people,
To bless somebody
and those that get the opportunity to be in ear range of those things that you're speaking, because so many people can identify with that,
Right.
with your stories, with your situation or circumstances that you speak about in your poetry. What has been some of the things that that's happened in your life that has inspired you to create the poetry and the spoken word art that you do?
You know, it's funny because it's not something that, you know, you would want to inspire you. So I'm inspired actually by my trials,
Okay.
or motivated by my trials, or they feed the poetry, because you know, life for me ain't been no crystal stair.
Is that right?
Yeah, but that's because it's not because, and my story is different. So what's happened is not things that were done to me. A lot of people go through things. People have been abused and mistreated, wrongly accused of doing things. My issues were brought on by me.
Self-inflicted issues.
Well, and you'll see why I didn't want you to use that word later, but
I gotcha.
but it's all right. But yeah, you know, just making poor choices, bad decisions, and making bad decisions for the wrong reasons. So I'm already got the wrong reason, and now I'm making the bad decision based on that. So, you know, I'm going places and doing things that I knew I had no business doing. But just like you said, if one word that I speak keeps somebody else from going down that path,
Right.
Then I've done what I'm supposed to do, because I believe wholeheartedly that my life does not belong to me. It belongs to God, and the testimonies that He's given me, I mean, it's no good if nobody else hears it. So I can't be ashamed of the God who of the deliverance that I've received, or the God that has that delivered me. Because how is anybody else going to get deliverance if I don't share? If we don't say, look, this is what I did. Or if somebody else doesn't say, this is what happened to me, you don't have to be ashamed. If it happened to you, it happened. You are not the only one.
Right.
And so, and for me, my tone sometimes has to be a little different, because I have to say, listen, this ain't what you want. I promise you don't want to do this. And you think it's fun now, and you think I'll take a little drink here and a little drink there, and I'm just, drinking for social media. And there are some people, I'm not giving alcoholism to everybody. There are some people who can just stop there, but everybody's life is different, and God puts different trials on us and gives us different stories to tell.
Absolutely.
And mine was one where, no, you don't. I'm not a one-hitter quitter. So if I get started,
you started.
I'm started.
Okay.
So
you go 100%. You ain't gonna go 20%, 50%. If you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it.
Yeah, and and it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't even that with that attitude. It was just you get there, you're having fun, and then you lose track. But for me, it was trying to fool myself into. It's like trying to be who you're not, and not accepting who you actually are. This is the thorn in my flesh,
yes,
if you will.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so you got to understand that this is your thorn, and He's not taking it out, because His grace is sufficient. While you got it, while you got to deal with it, He gonna walk with you. He gonna pull you out of it, but He's not gonna take it out. So if He didn't take it out this time, then the next time you go sitting up at the bar, He hasn't. You got to remember He didn't take it out. So same thing's gonna happen.
You still got to deal with it.
What in the world are you doing? So it's. But yeah, that was my thing, and I would say to folks, listen, I was not the worst of the worst. Where I was not the worst of the worst when you compare, but it was the worst place that I could be. Right. It was not a place that I needed to be.
And your worst can be.
And my worst
different than somebody else's
worst. So
so let me ask you this: what was your breaking point, or what was the pivotal point in your life where you turned things around, or you realized, okay, I'm on the wrong course. Let me get back on course with my life and God's plan for my life. What was that pivotal point for you?
Oh, that happened more than one time.
That happened more than one time.
It happens more than one time, because because all it is that realizing, okay, this is not, if you're gonna do anything with your life, you're gonna have to stop this. And it's every time realizing this hinders you. Yeah, you can get up and you can go to work and you can function, but you're hindered, because that's all you're going to do. And then you're going to get home, and then you're going to be tired, and you can't do. People, what really did it for me was when people are counting on me and I can't show up. Oh my God.
That had to hurt.
It
hurt you way further than it hurt them.
Breaks my heart and hurts me more. And those are my friends who were gracious, and their only concern is, are you okay? Are you okay? And I don't even want to talk to you, because now I'm so ashamed. Of yourself. And this is what the devil wants you to do. Because for me, every time I'd fall, I can't go to God. I would simply say, I don't even want you to look at me. I can't talk to you, because I don't even want you to. Just ashamed. Just don't want. And when the devil gets you to stop talking to God, oh, he got you.
And that's where he wants you. You know what? We're going to come back with more of that conversation, because I really like where we're going with this. Okay. This is going to be a very interesting show, as it is already. Thanks so much. We'll be back in just a moment with more of Let's Talk About It with my wonderful guest, Miss Vascola. Welcome back to this edition of Let's Talk About It with my wonderful guest, Vascola, in the house. The super poet, spoken word artist. This woman is amazing. You guys are going to get to see that in just a moment. Vascola, when we left off, we were just talking about some of the stuff that you were inspired by when you write. How did you, or how old were you actually when you realized you had the gift and the talent to write and do spoken word art?
I don't know if I ever even considered it a gift.
Okay.
Until, because when I started to talk about gifts and learn about gifts, it was spiritual. Okay. And so when I got myself back to where I was supposed to be, under the shelter and some counsel from some good some good church folk, spiritual folk, then and you're in that atmosphere where they teach you about spiritual gifts and such. I thought I was just running my mouth, which is pretty much what it was. But I always knew. Well, so I have the spirit of an artist anyway. So acting, the stage, I love being on the stage. All of that I actually love. But I guess because even in high school. In elementary school, I've always been in a band in high school, and I remember I played the trumpet. And I remember when I would get home from school, I'd get my trumpet out, and I'd go sit on the front porch. I lived in the country.
Okay.
So I go sitting on the front porch, and I'm playing my horn, and nobody in the neighborhood ever said anything about it. They just like, that's fast over there, making all that noise. That's what they actually said. So just from a young person, and then you start to, as I'm growing up in the Lord and just maturing, just starting to realize that there are some things that are special about me, and that always made me feel uncomfortable to think that I was special. You know, I never thought I was better than anybody else, but just say, okay, that seems to come easy for you. And people, there were little children sometimes would look at me, just look at me like they could see something, and I go, what is that? What is that about? But people seem to be drawn to me, and I guess they were just responding to what they're getting from me, because I absolutely adore people. Love people. Never seen a person that is a stranger to me. My son would say to me all the time, "Ma, I cannot believe you are talking to those people. You don't even know." And everywhere I go, it's like, okay, there she goes. She's talking, But I guess they, were just responding to what they were getting from me. But I've done it, and I've always done it. And then I just started, I guess about 5 or 6 years ago, writing. Like seriously writing, like I'm gonna really put this down on some paper, and then started to perform it, because I like to write it, but it's not good enough for me to write it I don't write it to sit it there.
Okay. You write it to use.
I write it to use, and to use in front of folks, like live.
With an audience.
Yeah, because I think you receive it better when I give it. And a lot of people like to take poetry and they like to read it and all of that, and I understand, I get that, but I like to stand in front of people and just do it.
And that's sharing the gift.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
what's in you is what you want to put out there for
Is
the
what I
world to
want to
see.
give to her.
There's one thing for you to write it and just read it to yourself, but what good is that?
Who gets it? Who gets it? I already know what it is.
It's designed to help somebody, motivate somebody, or inspire somebody when you do it. A minute ago when we were talking, you mentioned life experiences that have helped you to do your poetry. And you talked about rock bottom. Tell me a little bit more of what that looked like to you, because you said you never hit rock bottom,
right?
But you saw what it looked like and what it could be.
Well, and I guess rock bottom was it was more and more like I'm okay. I get to this level of drinking, and then the next time I'm out, and there could be. I mean, I could go a couple of weeks and not. Do anything. I was not an everyday person. I didn't drink every single day, or didn't have to drink every single day. But when Friday came, I made up for the fact that I hadn't been drinking all week.
All right.
It was what it seemed like. I mean,
Right.
But I guess just realizing. So you get up, and I was not a person that got physically sick, but I was always tired, and I was always had that shameful feeling, and that feeling of, it got to the point where I thought, okay, can I really do this? Can I really stop? I mean, really? Am I really going to be able to stop? You know what I mean? And I got scared. But just being in the places that I was sometimes,
right.
And then seeing some of the people who were further gone than I, and people who I would have been if I had continued.
So those were your wake-ups?
Those were wake-up calls. And then realizing that I was driving my car home every night, that I would drink, and wake up the next morning and my car is parked straight in the garage, and or the driveway, and my clothes are hung up nice and neatly in the closet and nothing was out of place. But if you asked me if I took 610 to get home or 288 to get home,
remember.
I could not tell you. And I used to think that blacking out meant passing out. If somebody blacked out, it meant passed out. But no, it's your mind was black. You can't. You were in such a cloud of you just could not remember. And then a couple of days later, things would start to come back to me. And I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe I did that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe I stayed there that long. I had how much to drink? Are you kidding me? Yeah. And it just starts to come back. And it's like, I really got to put, I don't want to do. The part of it was, I was upset because I had not gotten to the place where I did not want to do it anymore.
Okay.
Knew I shouldn't, knew I didn't need to, but hadn't gotten to where it was I don't want to anymore.
The desire.
And the desire. Yeah. So I hated that I still had the desire, and hated that I still had it because I can't feed it. You know you can't go to the bar. You want to go, but you can't go. And it's like that was so frustrating. And it made me. It's like now it's like no, I'm good. Don't worry about me. I'm good. I'm good.
You know what I want to ask you. One of the things what I call that is self-medication. When we self-medicate ourselves, there's always a reason or a foundation that's there for us to self-medicate. And so why are we self-medicating? What is the root of that behavior? What is causing me, or what am I running from?
Right, exactly.
That I'm not facing head on, and I'm using the alcohol as a diversion. What do you know what that? Have you discovered
fear?
What that
I think
is?
it was simply fear, and it was the fear of failure.
Okay.
Yeah, fear, and I wasn't gonna try anything that I wasn't absolutely sure I could do, because I didn't want to fail at it. So I didn't want to do that. So it was fear, and I was not going to go to a couple of different reasons. I didn't think that the AA business was for me.
Okay.
And I went to a couple of meetings because I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is what you need to do, because you need to. And I promise you, I think that program is phenomenal, and it works for who it works for. But I still feel like God kept me He's like, I got you. I got you. So I'm blessed that I didn't even have to do that. You know what I mean? And I thought it was just in denial. Okay, you in denial. You can't go. And
right.
and the other thing that I've had couple of people kind of raise their eyebrows at is like, I don't think that I've ever been that my situation was ever an alcoholic situation. But then they say there are different levels and different. So you could have been. But then, so if in fact I was, then I was. So for me to still say here and say I'm not, because I'm no longer doing the things that I would have been doing to consider me an alcoholic. And so that's just for me. It's just about accepting where you are and what we say, the power that's in our tongue.
Right. Life and death is in the power of the tongue.
Absolutely.
And you know what? We're going to continue talking about this because this is too good. We'll be back in just a moment with more of Let's Talk About It.
You.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Let's Talk About It. You know, we've talked about my wonderful guest, Miss Vascola Stoney. Well, guess what? You're going to get to hear her right now. I present to you the wonderful and awesomely talented Miss Vascola Stoney.
Thank you again, Ferrell. Okay, so I am going to do a couple of spoken word pieces. This first piece is called My Life, and I wrote it because we have a tendency, or at least I had a tendency of not claiming my past and pretending to myself at least that everything had been perfect, and it in fact had not. So here goes my life. I wish that I could tell you I've achieved perfection, that I've always moved in the right direction, in the right lane and at the right speed, but that ain't my life. I wish I could say that I've never been tempted, that I've been successful at everything I attempted, but it seems that plan was somehow preempted, because that ain't my life. I want to say I've always walked right, followed God's light and let my light shine. It's a beautiful life, but I'm afraid it ain't mine. My life has been full of ups and downs, twists and changes, turn backs and turnarounds. The quick decisions were the worst decisions, and most decisions left no chance for revision. I was upside and then downside. Then I backslide out of foolish pride. I took joy rides, went flying high, then crash landed on my behind. Wrong drawn conclusions led to mass confusion. So what I thought was happiness was, well, just an illusion. I'd love to say the devil made me do it, but no, I saw the danger for myself and still I ran straight to it. So if I made that statement, you could easily contradict it. You see, most of my wounds were self-inflicted. The fact of the matter, as a matter of fact, is I've had my own self under attack. Drinking heavily, thinking lightly, sinking quickly, then surrendering, but not completely. My excuses were lame. I was losing the game. I wanted something different, but kept acting the same. I don't need to tell y'all that's insane. My life had been a whirlwind trip till God canceled that ticket and flipped the script on me. So my life no more belongs to me. I gave it back to the one who gave it, to the one who gave his very life to save it. So now I'm forgetting those things that are now behind, and as the power of God renews my mind, I see my future and it looks divine. I come before the throne where new life unfolds, and I'm getting a healing for my soul. Now, I still see trials and I see tribulation, but I see God's hand in every situation, and the peace truly passes all understanding. It's because of him and only him. Don't get it twisted. Not you, not me, not them. It's because of him that I'm still standing. I kept falling, but now I'm standing. I kept falling. Listen, just because I kept falling doesn't mean that I can't stand, but what I really can't stand are those who demand that because I once fell, I deserve to spend my eternity in hell. Now, that's a lie that will not fly, because I can still see the cross where Jesus died for me. I love the Lord. He heard my cry. So if he says jump, I say, Lord, how high? Amen.
Awesome. And you know what, guys? Guess what? There's more, because we're not ready to be done with Miss Vascola. Vascola, can you bless us with another piece if you don't mind?
I can indeed.
All right.
Yeah, it would be my pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Okay, this next piece is simply called Victorious. And I did it to say to sisters and brothers everywhere that, look, it doesn't matter what you've been through, doesn't matter where you think you're going to, you already have the victory. Once you accept the love and the sacrifice of Jesus, you can claim the victory. So here it is, Victorious. What I'm about to say is going to sound conceited, especially considering the number of times that I'm going to repeat it. But I got to give it to you just like this, because frankly, y'all, we need it. So we can claim the victory and make the devil conceited. I am victorious. Now, before you get all huffed up, thinking that I'm all puffed up, allow me a moment to explain. See, I don't think I'm hot stuff, because I know I could never do enough to deserve the victory I claim. So with me, there is no pride, you see, because it was Jesus who shed his blood for me up on a hill called Calvary, so I could stand here blamelessly and declare to you my victory. When I say that I'm victorious, I'm not saying I know all there is to know about all there is to know something about, because all I know is that when I was in the wilderness, it was Jesus who brought me out. I'm victorious. Right. Now, no need to get all aggravated, because this really ain't all that complicated. Because I'm not saying that I'm all that, but after all that I have been through, all I've had to smile and grin through, sometimes had to thicken my skin through, all the lies I've had to skim through, I'm still about this life. You see, I'm still about this Christ, because he sacrificed his life for me so I could walk this V. I see how you looking at me. T-O-R-Y, do I keep my head to the sky? Because that's the limit for me. He came that I might have this life and have it more abundantly. I'm victorious. Now, I'm not saying I have it all. Okay, maybe I am. I got the love of friends and family, and I'm waiting for the perfect man for me. I got a God who simply adores me, who keeps on opening doors for me. Through open windows, he pours for me blessings that others will receive through me. I told you this would sound conceited from me, but it's really not. Because this victory... This victory was not won by me. This was done by the Son who fights my battles for me. So life now is sweet. My joy is complete. Jesus came and paid it all, and my life is here as the receipt. I'm victorious. Now, I'm not saying I'm too blessed to be stressed, but these trials come to make me stronger. Through prayer, I get the strength to hold on a little longer. I'm not worried about tomorrow. I count it all joy. He promised never to leave me nor forsake me. He makes the enemy the footstool that elevates me. I cast my cares on him because he cares for me. In his presence I reside. I'm free to confide. He protects and provides. No good thing am I denied. So it matters not the trouble I see, because even if life gets dark, it's dark and lovely, just like me. So let's be clear. I'm not afraid of fear. I know how to make that disappear. My faith forces me to stand flat-footed firmly in front of fear, behind God who's got my back, and boldly declare that I believe, that I receive that which I have not even seen. I'm victorious, y'all. I'm trying to tell you what that means. Now, when I say that I'm victorious, I'm not thinking more highly of myself than I ought. But knowing this God in whose image I was made, knowing further that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, knowing even further that over all the earth he gave me dominion, my opinion of myself, I'm afraid, is probably not high enough. He calls me friend, you see, gave me charge over the birds in the sky and the fish in the sea. Now you'll have to excuse me, because this has indeed made me calculatingly confident in the things that I speak. But I did not make it up. I looked it up. And so can you. Now, I found it in Psalms, but it's in Hebrews too. I'm victorious. Now, when I say that I'm victorious, I'm not saying I'm brave or courageous. I'm saying I keep the full armor of God, and that makes me armed and dangerous. The belt of truth is around my waist, so the enemy's lies can't invade my space. The breastplate of righteousness, self-explanatory. To protect my heart from wickedness, obedience is mandatory. And as I walk upright, the devil sets traps for me. But I got good news of victory, and my feet are ready to carry me, armed with the gospel of peace. The helmet of salvation that protects my head, that carries my mind, this mind of Christ. The shield of faith that removes the doubt that the enemy's tactics can bring about. The sword of the Spirit, now that's the word. To think I can win without it, now that's absurd. It gives me strength, it gives me power to stand my ground hour after hour as the devil comes seeking after me to devour. So when the enemy comes against me like a flood, a standard is raised, God be praised, the devil is confused and left in a daze. Listen, this business of my victory is simply my declaration and my decree. When I say that I'm victorious, I'm simply saying that I am free. I'm free from sin, so I'm free to win. I'm free to laugh. I'm free to cry. I'm free to live in peace before I have to die. I'm free to love. I'm free to give. I'm free to move. I'm free to choose. I'm free from guilt and free from shame. I'm free from my excuses because, well, frankly, they were lame. I'm free from fear and disbelief. I'm free from stress and strife and grief. I'm free to be who all God created me to be. I'm free from whatever you think about me. I'm free to be who I am and free not to be who I'm not. I'm free from all the devil's lies and schemes and plans and plots. I'm free, y'all, and freedom is fabulous. I'm free and it feels marvelous. I'm free and freedom is glorious. I'm free, y'all, and I am victorious.
All right, we're back with Let's Talk About It with my amazingly talented guest, Miss Vascola Stoney. She's going to give you her final piece entitled Masterpiece. I present to you, Miss Vascola Stoney.
Thank you. And actually the piece is called Masterpiece Creator. And the inspiration behind the piece is that a lot of times in our lives, somebody has said about us or said to us, you're a real piece of work. And typically when they say that about you, they don't mean anything good. But this piece is here to tell you that you are indeed a piece of work. And when you think about the master who created this piece of work, then somebody says, you're a real piece of work. You say, yes, indeed, I am. So here it is, Masterpiece Creator. They say that I'm a piece of work. They don't know the half. They really don't even have a clue. That's why I shake my head sometimes and laugh. See, they don't know that I have an advantage. My creator, oh, he's an expert. Now, they've already done their reviews about me, and they've only seen an excerpt. Because I'm a piece of work for sure. An original piece never seen before. Everything about me is unique to me. Now, your natural eye won't let you see the billions of cells he combined in me. Oh, the reverence he took in refining me. Fearfully and wonderfully, I am made, and for that, my creator gets total praise. Yeah, I'm a piece of work indeed, born with everything I need in order to succeed. I have an expected future my past will not impede. Yeah, I'm a piece of work, all right. I'll glow in the dark to bring forth his light. Now, my imperfections make me perfect. Perfect, that is, for my creator's purpose. So don't be fooled by the scratches on my surface, because I'm a piece of work, but I'm rare. So I must insist you handle me with care. You can't just grab me and move me around, keep picking me up and putting me down, trying to shake me, trying to break me, trying to see how far you can take me, trying to sell me, and then trying to buy me, trying to hold me back and deny me. And I'm a piece of work? Ha! You better believe it. Please, please take a moment and try to conceive it. I have the courage to dream and the power to achieve it. Now, I walk by faith, so I expect to receive it. That's my final answer. You can take it or leave it. Don't know how else to help you perceive it, because I'm a piece of work. Don't get that twisted. A final piece has never existed, but that's what my creator intended for me. One of a kind, no other kind like me. Now, the tears I cry for a reason. The pain I feel for a season. But that's not a season like a period of time. It's a season of flavor for my gain in time. See, the pain makes the gain taste a whole lot better. Yeah, I'm a piece of work. I'm a real go-getter. I know I can because he said I can. Now, I know you thinking the audacity of me to believe his promise. I'll take just a second right here and be honest. I didn't always feel this way. Didn't always believe this way, but his mercies are new every single day, and so many things could have gone the other way. See, I was a beaten piece, a battered piece, a used, bruised, and a shattered piece. Oh, but now I'm a put back together piece, a more valuable than ever piece, a saved, healed, signed, sealed, redeemed, and delivered piece. Not a piece for sale, but a sold out piece, so don't waste your time getting in line for this piece. See, I'm a piece of work, but I can't be bought. In fact, y'all, I'm just here on lease. Because one day I'll return to my rightful owner, because I am the master's piece. Amen? Amen. Amen. Woo! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I hope you guys have enjoyed Miss Vascola Stoney and her awesome talent as much as I did. For more information on me, Vascola Stoney, you can reach us at letstalkaboutit12tv@gmail.com. That's Let's Talk About It 12tv@gmail.com. Until next time, we'll see you then.